Okay, so today we're going to talk about two phones, the Samsung Galaxy Exhibit and the 4G and the LG Optimus L70, both Metro PCS devices, so let's go. Now, you may be asking yourself, why the heck did I just say this is what we're looking at? Well, because I want to show you how the Android phones have developed in just a year straight. These phones are from 2013, 2014, and I want to show you what happened in a year. So, for the first for both phones, you see one looks a lot bigger than the other. So we have the Samsung Galaxy Exhibit. It has a 3.8-inch touchscreen display, a front-facing camera that is 1.2 megapixels, and we have a proximity sensor. Then you take a look at the top, and the only thing you have is a headphone jack. On one side of the device, you get your power switch. On the other side of the device, you get your micro SD card slot and your volume rockers. And on the bottom of the device, you get your micro USB slot and your microphone. So on the back of the device, you have access to your removable battery, your 5 megapixel camera and flash, and your full-size SIM card. And then you remove the battery and you see it is a 1500 mAh. Now I am going to get into specs a little bit later. I just want to take a look at the devices first. So now we are going to look at the LG Optimus L70 Metro PCS version, MS323. So when you look at the LG Optimus L70, you have on the front of the device you have a back menu key and a home button, and then you get a 4.5-inch display with the VGA camera on front. On one side you get your power button. On the opposite side you get your volume rocker and a quick shortcut key. On the top you get a noise cancelling microphone and a headphone jack. On the bottom you get a micro USB port and a microphone. And on the back you get access to your speaker grill, your removable battery, a micro SIM card slot, 5 megapixel rear-facing camera flash, and your SIM card slot. And then when you take the battery out, you get access to a 20,040 milliamp hour battery. Now, putting those two aside, we are going to get into the specs. So, let's take a look at the specifications for this device. And when we look here at the Samsung Galaxy Exhibit, we have GSM and HSPA. Just to clarify, none of these devices work on Verizon. And it has 2G and 3G bands, so this will not get you 4G or 4G LTE. The bands for 2G are GSM. It is 850, 900, 1800, and 1900. And then the 3G bands are HSDPA, which is 850, 1700, 1900, and 2100. And the speed is HSPA, it has a GPS, and it is Edge. It has Edge, which is just E or usually roaming. Well, not roaming, but it has sometimes roaming comes with it. Then you have the LG Optimus L70. It is GSM WCDMA, so it does get 4G, it's just not 4G LTE. So the 2G bands are 850, 900, 1800, and 1900. That is the 2G bands. Now, it's WCDMA, 3G, 4G. It switches between, depending on how strong the signal is 850, 1700, 1900, and 2100. And the speed is 4G, it has GPS, and it is Edge. Has Edge. Now, when were these devices launched? So this device launched in May of 2013. This device launched in February of 2014. And this device weighs 4.2 ounces and has the big size SIM card inside of it. This device is 4.5 ounces and it has a micro SIM, not the nano, just micro. They both have capacitive touch, 16 million colors, and as I mentioned, this is a 3.8-inch screen, which is not even 4 inches. This has a 4.5-inch screen. They both have a 480 by 800 resolution. This one has 246 pixels per inch because this is smaller, while this has approximately 207 pixels per inch. And what I mean by pixels per inch is if you look closely at your screen, you'll see some dots, some squares. Those squares are pixels. Every inch there's a different set amount of squares. Now, the OS on these things is this has Android 4.1.2 Jelly Bean. This has Android 4.4 KitKat. Now, these devices probably got updates to different firmware and stuff, but according to online sources, these both have what they have on it came in. So the chipset on this one doesn't even use a Qualcomm Snapdragon. It uses a 1 GHz dual-core Cortex A9 processor with the Mali 400 MP4 GPU. While this uses a 1.2 GHz Qualcomm MSM 8210 with no GPU. Now, these both have expandable memory card slots up to 32 gigabytes, and they both have internal storage of 4 gigabytes, while this one has 1 gigabyte usable, while this one has 1.3 gigabytes usable space. The RAM on both of these is 1 gigabyte each, so they both have 1 gigabyte of RAM. They both have 5 megapixel rear-facing cameras with LED flash. The features on this one is geotagging, touch focus, and face detection, while this one adds panorama, voice trigger, and timer to it. So this one, the back-facing camera shoots at 720p at 30 frames per second, while this shoots at 480p. Front-facing here is 1.9 megapixels, while this is 2 megapixels. And they both have a headphone jack. They both sport 802.11 ABGN dual-band Wi-Fi with hotspot. While this one has Bluetooth 4.0, this one has Bluetooth 2.1, so the battery will last a little longer with Bluetooth on this one. This has sensors of accelerometer, gyro, proximity compass. This one has light accelerometer, compass, proximity, and gyroscope sensor. They both have SMS, MMS, email. They both have HTML5. And this one's battery is removable lithium-ion 1500 mAh. That gets you 600 hours on 3G talk time, 9 hours on 3G, and I've experienced 1 hour talk time, and then 27-hour music time, which for me I've experienced maybe 3 hours. Well, this one gives you like a week's worth or more of standby on 3G. It's 13 hours of talk time. I've experienced like maybe 7 hours. This gives you 30 hours of playtime, even more, and this is a 2040 mAh battery. So, how far have these come? So you've seen the difference in specs here on how these far. This one is a little better because it's a little newer. But how far these come throughout the year, you can see. I'll put the if I can find it. Oh, I can put the back on, but I don't even need to. If you see over here, you can see how much thinner this phone is. You can see, you can measure it. This is a little bit thinner than this phone. I put them side by side. This one on this side is a little bit thicker. this one is only like 0.2 of an ounce heavier, while this one is light because it's smaller. And the camera on both these phenomenal. This is a little faster than this because the chipset is better. So how this has come is the phones itself have actually become a lot bigger and faster using the same amount of RAM and everything, just with a different chipset. So it's become faster. Things that run a lot smoother. It has an upgraded version of the operating system. So this is upgraded no matter what. So coming from both these devices, it's cool to see how Android has come in just 1 year. So if you like this video, please rate, comment, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.